Aloha, this is Campos. You may have seen the PBS Hawaiʻi documentary entitled In Hawaiian Hands, the Story of Reggae in Hawaii. It's fantastic. I just saw it for the first time yesterday. And to my great surprise, I noticed that I was in the documentary. I am the trombone player that played in the band Cool Runnings, which was, according to my fellow bandmate, Craig, who was interviewed, I didn't know it then, but we were the very first reggae band that played entirely straight reggae music. So I want to tell you the story, my perception of those days and that band. I want to tell you about the music, the roots, the culture, the brotherhood, and the sound that shaped my life. But before I tell you those stories, I must tell you, how did I get there? What brought me to Hawaii? I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I was playing in a marching band, the Glendale City Community Marching Band. And we were booked to march in a parade. And I remember getting on the plane with my trombone and heading to a place I've heard of but never ever seen before. And we landed, I think it was in 1975. And I just remember suddenly in my marching band uniform, and we were all getting ready to hit the street. And the marching band, we must have been about 100-piece marching band, together with a drill team and some baton twirlers. I remember they were from Santa Maria, California. And we traveled together. And we played that parade. And I just remember being completely blown away that such a place could exist. I'm from Highland Park, California. And music brought me to paradise. And as a 14-year-old boy, I just remembered making a promise to myself that one day I would live there. And it happened. There was something about that place, the spirit, the climate, the music, the local Hawaiian music, the culture, and the kindness of the people. I moved to Hawaii. I packed up a suitcase and that trombone, my king to be. And I landed in Oahu, not knowing a soul, not knowing anything about what I was going to do. And in those 2 weeks, I got a job and I rented an apartment. And that apartment, which I'll show you a photograph of it right here. And here's my ID. I was so close to the ocean, to the culture, and where the action was for a young musician. How I got into playing reggae music was one day I was right at the ocean front, close to the zoo. And I saw this young dude with long dreadlocks. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he had his sax with him. But this guy, something about him, I managed to go up to him and begin talking to him. And I told him I just moved to Hawaii and I'm a trombone player. And he got all excited. He's like, man, you should come with me. I play reggae. We're in a band called Cool Runnings. And that's how it started. I met Bongo. And I remember coming to the rehearsal and meeting the guys, and I just remember this singer, his name was Maacho. Now, I'm Latino from Los Angeles, you know, Maacho. I was like, all right, cool, man. You know, I called him Maacho. He was a very nice guy. And then but playing with the band. And then to hearing the horn section, it was me on trombone, Bongo on alto sax. And there was, I'm sorry I forgot his name, but the saxophone player, there's a tenor sax player. And you'll see him in the photographs if you watch the PBS documentary. But there was a sound and the rhythm and that upbeat guitar shank there, and just the band. I remember the band was really smooth. And it was groovy, man. And the tunes, they were just so incredibly cool. And the trombone, let me tell you, the trombone to reggae music, it's like whatever saxophone is to jazz. I mean, this instrument and reggae, they're made for each other. So I instantly fell in love with the band and the music. And playing in a reggae band as a young guy, I think, I was 19 years old when I moved to Hawaii. And I would just love the climate and the weather and all the beautiful girls and a bunch of cool people, man. It was a vibe. And I made it. I made it to Hawaii. I actually moved there. In the video, Craig talks about that we played the Shell in Waikiki Beach. And I remember that gig. I remember standing on the stage, and I had hair back then, and I had long hair, and I would wear a lei. I would just the smell of those beautiful tropical flowers around my neck, playing this music in such a place as Waikiki Beach, man. And every time we played, I was the guy wearing the lei. And I remember we played at this outdoor open stadium, open arena, open, it's almost like the Hollywood Bowl. And I just remember playing that gig. And I remember just people sitting down and lots of people standing up and some, kids dancing, and there was a vibe. There was people just having a great time. And the acoustics, in the Shell, it was nice because you can hear the whole band. And I just remember feeling good and having an amazing time. And, I lived my life there. I got a job. I was working right across the street from where I lived. I lived right here on this street here. And right across the street was a condominium building. There used to be the King's Bakery right there. And I got hired as security. And I remember meeting a Hawaiian brother. Man, I hope to see him again one day in my life. His name was Bert, a big brother. big one. He was cool, man. He was like my homie. He was like my homeboy, Bert. I would get off at 6 a.m., go across the street to my apartment, change out of my work clothes and into some swimming trunks, and I would head over to the beach. And I did that every day, just enjoying my life in Hawaii, playing some reggae music. Playing with Cool Runnings was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I'll never forget it. It's a part of me. Those guys, who I haven't seen those dudes in the band since I left. I think I left the band in like late 1981, maybe 82, because I moved back. I moved back to LA. I haven't seen Cool Runnings at all until this documentary. Yesterday I saw them. I saw Craig Okino and I saw Chris Planas. They were talking about Maacho. They were talking about Bongo on sax. They were talking about the brother who was playing congas. Yeah, so I played trombone in that group. We played at the Wave a few times. That was a trip. Standing on that beautiful stage, that club was popping, man. That I was young, and that club was off the hook. The Wave, and I lived right down the street from it. I would walk to those gigs. Lots of fun, great time, great memories. To have been part of the history of reggae music in Hawaii, and to be part of the history of the Wave. You know, it's an honor, man. It's a privilege. I didn't realize it then that I was part of, you know, what would be important history. I didn't know that. I was just having a good time. But we played the Wave quite a few times. And, yep, and we played, as Craig said in the interview, a place called 3D, sort of like this punk club. And I remember Haleiwa. I remember going to the North Shore, and I walked into this old rundown theater. It appeared to me to be abandoned. That's what I understood from Maacho. Maacho told me, I don't know if this is true, but I got the understanding, I got the impression that Maacho lived there in the theater. I heard Craig talk about that's where the band practiced. And I remember that we did practice there. But the very first time I ever walked into the Haleiwa Theater, I was blown away at the whole entire experience. And Maacho told me that he lives there, or lived there. And then we practiced, and I remember we did a gig there. And I thought to myself, how is it possible that this abandoned theater, there was no seats in the theater. It's like the theater it had electricity, it had a stage, it was a theater, but there was no seats. All the seats were removed. So, but we played a gig there, and it was a party, man. I don't know, I guess just a whole bunch of local people from the North Shore, you know, they knew that Cool Runnings was going to play a gig, and it was hopping, man. I remember that. I remember Haleiwa. And then I remember that we were, you know, at the time that I left the band, I remember that we were preparing for a tour to do some college gigs. And if I'm not mistaken, they were on Oahu, but I think the band was going to travel to some other islands, but I don't remember exactly because I left the band and I left Oahu and went back to LA. But I see in the documentary, the PBS Hawaiʻi documentary, that there was some footage of Cool Runnings doing a gig at a college. Perhaps those are the gigs that I missed out. Now, unfortunately, I don't know why, but Craig didn't mention my name as being a member, but my photograph is there. You see, I'm the tall, skinny guy I'm the tallest one in the band, and I had like this long hair and the big smile. And I'm photographed seated right next to Craig. And he didn't mention my name, but I was there. And he also didn't mention the tenor sax player's name, which is why I don't remember his name. And I don't know who played drums. I don't remember the drummer. But I remember Chris on guitar. I remember Craig on bass. And I remember Bongo, of course Maacho, and that conga player. And, you know, we weren't famous, but we were kind of famous. People knew of the band. Now today I live in Denmark. I live in Copenhagen, Denmark. And Denmark, as you might know, can be a very cold place. But during the winter, it can be really miserable. It could be very, very cold. It could be very, very dark. Looking out of the window, walking home from work, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it'll be pitch black. And there was a day when I just have had enough of the Danish winter, and I began reminiscing about Hawaii and what it used to be like for me. And I wrote a song called Hawaiian Blues. And it's a fun little song. It's a reggae song, but it's, you know, you might not think it's reggae, but when I wrote it, I tried to give it a reggae kind of a feeling. Hawaiian Blues. And it's a story about basically that in times when it's cold and dark and rainy and wet and snowy and just ugly outside, that's when I can escape my mind and go back to Hawaii. I'll play the song for you right here. I hope you like it. I would love to come back to Hawaii and perhaps play some more music with some local brothers and sisters. I would love if Cool Runnings would make a reunion and we can once again see each other and meet each other and have some good laughs and play some good music. In my opinion, reggae does fit like a glove in the Hawaiian culture and society. If you want to call it Hawaiian or island, I call it reggae. Just keep it real. Don't try to be Jamaican because you're not. Be Hawaiian. Be a local brother. I miss you all. I miss Hawaii. Hawaii will always be in my heart. PBS, thanks a lot for making this documentary. You did a great job, and I hope everybody gets a chance to watch it learn about the great musicians of the past, the present, and the up and coming. Mahalo for letting me share my journey. This is Campos, and this was my Hawaiian reggae story. Peace, love, and aloha.